why would you take advice from people who do not have the life you want? So, like, I don't get it. I don't get, like, even for me, like, you hear everyone says it. It's like, oh, what is it? Family and friends, and it's like, even for me, I never thought my family would treat me the way they treat me, or say the things that they've said to me. Like, I've met people, strangers, and after a few days of meeting them, they've said more positive, motivational, inspirational. They've complimented me more. They at least they've said that, right? That they believe, that I have potential. That they've given me more compliments than my own freaking family and friends. By the way, friends is another thing. It's like most of them are fair weather friends, but yeah, it's just something you go through on the journey, which is sad, but it's true, and you just sort of become desensitized to it, where you don't give a fuck anymore. You just sort of like let everyone do their own thing, and you do yours. Because regardless, you're going to be judged for whatever it is you do, so you might as well get judged for living the life you want to live, as long as it aligns with your moral values, and you understand that you're willing to take the risks that are needed to get the life you want. By all means, go for it. Who the fuck cares if Sally says Sally or whoever the fuck, no one cares. No one cares, And when it comes to taking risks, like, not all people have a high risk tolerance. Luckily, I have a high risk tolerance, even though, like, you still need to learn how to manage stress, and it's definitely something you need to learn. Like, even for me, like, I just sort of like plow through it. I don't really. And I think it's like, I'm willing to suffer a lot, and I think that's something I need to change. Like, I should not, because I've suffered for too long, thinking, well, I'm no snowflake, I'm no puss, I'm no, like, I'm a man. I need to do whatever it takes, and this is what it takes. Well, fuck it, but maybe I suffered more than I should have. So, but for most people listening, that's not the case. Like, when I listen to a motivational speaker, right? Like, for me, what gets me motivated, or is when someone sits me down, or when I watch a podcast, and they don't sugarcoat anything. Like, they say, look, you're a piece of shit, you're a snowflake, you're too scared, you need to man up, grow some balls, and go after it, right? Like, that's what gets me motivated, right? Now, some people get offended, and they're so butthurt and politically correct and blah blah blah, and, whatever suits your style, But for me, it's like, the reason why I like these motivational speakers is because, not because I like to, hear people insult me and shit. No, but it's more like, that is what is going to get me to where I want to go. So I might as well just be like, fuck, maybe he's right, maybe, and most of the time they are. So it's like, if you listen to a motivational speaker, and even if they just get you to take like 10% more action, that's worth it. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they stress how important that's the thing. It's like, it carries more weight if you say, you need to fucking man up, versus you need to man up. You feel me? So yeah, it just gets the momentum going. Even if it's like 10% more, it's still more effective. So anyway, I kind of got sidetracked with that, but yeah, best thing to do in your 20s, take lots of risks, especially in your 20s, because you're not going to regret taking risks. Obviously, calculated risk. I'm not saying have unprotected, with random, I don't want to get banned on Instagram, but yeah, but calculated risks that are going to set you up for the future. Like, have some sort of long-term vision of what you want to do with your life. Don't just conform to societal expectations and what people want you to be like, and what people want you to do. I think there's like a horsefly right there. Hope he doesn't bite me. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's one way that you've lived your 20s correctly, because most people, your 20s are supposed to set you up for life. Your 20s is when you figure out what you like, what your strengths are. I read this book called Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. Everyone needs to read that book at least once. It's like he literally says, like, most people think they know what they're good at, but they're usually wrong. And even with me, like, so many times people told me what I'm good at because I was too scared or cared too much about what people thought. I delayed in the actualization of my own potential, which is a tragedy. And I'm not saying that because it's my life. I'm saying that to you. It's like you're literally squandering your potential. You could be so much more. You could have your dream life, but you need to know what it is. You need to know what it is. You need to know clearly exactly what your dream day looks like, how you wake up, who you're with, where you're at, what the environment looks like, what the surroundings are like, what the temperature is like. Are you near the beach? Are you, in a forest somewhere? Who are you with? What does your dream life look like in detail, high resolution, zoom in, get crystal clear, okay? Can't be vague and shit. If it's vague, you get vague results, right? And once you figure that, I remember clearly I was probably 19. I remember watching these YouTube videos of these beautiful travel videos with the perfect music and this video compilation where all these, surrounded by green nature, trees, monkeys, wildlife near the beach, warm weather, sand in between your toes. Driving a scooter down a jungle road, you look up and monkeys swinging, and it's like, it's so that's jet skis, and you're on the beach, and sharks, and you're suntan, and sea salt, the sea blast, and you're tasting it. And to me, like, freedom feels different when you're living in nature. And I hate winters. I hate cold. I cannot stand it. I cannot stand. Like, when I came to Australia, I thought that Australia was warm and hot all of the time. Bloody hell, winters in Australia are fucking freezing. I left. I left and I went to Thailand I couldn't take it. It was too bloody cold. Yeah. And that's the thing. And then it's like you spend 6 months in Thailand. I was in Vietnam before. Like, I will never regret doing the things I've done in my 20s. And I'm not saying to like toot my own horn or anything. I'm saying that, as if you're listening, and you're in your 20s, early 20s or mid 20s, I wish someone had told me this when I was younger. Like, I lost 2 years because of 2020, 2019, when it first started, the pandemic. And I remember thinking, as soon as this shit ends, I'm gonna make up for lost time, because I remember I was like, fuck, this took 2 years off of my life where I could have been doing the things I wanted to do, but I couldn't because of this fucking shit. I never thought that something like that would have ever been possible. But still, here we are, right? And yeah, I just went crazy after COVID. I was like, fuck this shit. I need to go after it. And I remember thinking, fuck, no, I need to play it safe, and I need to have my life set up to the point where everything is perfect before I take such a drastic risk and such a major risk. And how am I going? And I realized, no, fuck that shit. What if it never works out? At least if it doesn't work out and I take the chance and I go for it and I live the life I want to live, I can look back and be like, okay, it didn't work out, but guess what? I still lived a full life. And I think at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants. They want to live a full life. They want to feel. They want. Maybe they're not consciously aware of it, but they feel it. You want to feel intense emotions. You want to experience. You want a visceral experience. Like, maybe nowadays with like short form content, TikTok, people are very superficial, so they don't know what they're missing out. So maybe ignorance is bliss. I don't know, but all I'm saying is, if you value depth like I do, you don't like to stay superficial, and you're not a shallow-minded person, it's like you value certain things a lot more than other people. And a good way to tell is what you value in a relationship. Like, do you value more short term or long term? And now, when you're young, obviously, you just want to have fun and experiment and this and that. So obviously, you're going to value more short term, right? But then once you have more experience and you realize, okay, well, I like this, I don't like that, I like this more, I like this less, and you see, oh well, like for me, I realized that I valued the relationships I had that were more medium to long term. It was a way better experience than like one night stands or just short term flings, right? So then I started to optimize for more medium to long term relationships because there's so much more depth, it's so much more beautiful and memorable, there's so much more passion. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, like when you're young, you do lots of shit, but you realize that, at least for me, the short term flings, you feel validated, but at the same time, because this person, like, you're treating them like a one night stand, but they're also treating you like the one night stand. So then you kind of realize, oh shit, this person probably views me only as like a one night stand material, if that makes sense, And I don't like to feel that way, right? Because then, yeah, because by definition, you're not high value if women just want you for one night, and then that's fucked, right? They like, I don't want a friend or a romantic partner who just wants me for one night. That's fucked, right? Because the people who I just want to have fun with for one night or a week with, obviously, it's not a very valuable friendship, right? So, no, I guess, yeah, you need to know what it is that you want out of life. And then, yeah, just do what it takes to, take advice from people who have the life or are closer to getting the life. That, like, for example, if someone's, like, I don't know who you follow, but, like, if you follow all these, big entrepreneurs like Iman Ghazi or Grant Cardone or Tyler, I follow all these guys too. It's like they're miles ahead of us. They're so far that it's kind of hard to, like, I still love, like, watching their content, and they give really good, valuable advice. See right there, there's a chopper. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're looking for sharks. And then if they spot one, they radio in, and they're like, oh, there's a shark, sound the alarms. We have some alarms sounded blaring, and then everyone gets out the water, and then, Jesus Christ. And don't get me wrong, I'm a really good swimmer. So it doesn't really scare me, but still, I'm still like slightly aware of what could happen. So I'm always on the lookout for any sharks when I'm swimming in ocean. That's one thing I do not like about Australia. I do not like that. Why is it hovering? Check this out. Huh. Maybe it sees one. Yeah, this is interesting. Maybe it's seeing like a school of sharks. Yeah, it's trying to scare them away, But yeah. So anyway, I want to end this video on a high note. If you're listening and you're in Australia, and it's interesting, it's like there's so many people who live in Australia who want to leave Australia. Many people who live in the US, they want to leave the US. Here we go. Yep, it's spotted a shark. Oh, Christ. Anyway, yeah. Go after your dreams. You won't regret it. Worst case scenario, especially if you're living in a first world country, if you really read the book The 4-Hour Workweek, he literally breaks down what's the worst possible scenario if you go for it. And you realize, fuck, it's not that scary. And if the worst possible scenario is not that scary, you might as well go for it. So just go for it. Believe in yourself.